Welcome to Mr. Holloway's Foundational Python Skills Series. In this video we're going to talk about casting and data types, and we're going to look at some casting functions. So let's get started. Class is now in session. Okay, so I want to do a couple of things here. Let's define some variables. So if you guys remember in our previous video, we're going to declare and assign a value. So that's how we make a variable. We're going to declare it and assign it a value. So I'm going to do a simple variable called name. And we're going to do old trusty Bob, and I'm going to do another variable, and I'm going to make this, let's call it, let's say age. We're going to set that age to 10, and we'll do another one. Let's just do GPA, and we're going to set that to 3.45. All right, so as you can see, I have three different data types. So this is a string, and I'm going to put a comment here. This is an int, and this is a float. Okay, now sometimes we need to change a different data type to another data type, and we do that through what's called casting. Okay, so let me give you an example. I'm going to do a print statement, and I'm going to do my name is Bob. Okay. I'm sorry. No, that's not right. I'm going to do my name is, and then I'll do concatenation, and I'll put name. All right. Now, there's better ways to do this, but in this case, I want to do it just to demonstrate. Okay. Now I'm also going to do, I'm just going to put a period here. So I'll say plus period, and then we're going to say plus my age is, and then we'll do plus age. Okay. So watch what happens. We're going to get an error here. So when I run it, you can see the type error is, it says it's a type error, and it can only concatenate string, not int, to string. So the problem here is that we have a string here, which is fine, but here we have an integer, and in a print statement you can't actually put an int in here. Everything has to be a string. And so one of the ways we can fix this, and again there's numerous ways, but I just want to demonstrate this, is by using one of the casting functions. Okay, so what I can do is, and let me write the ones we're going to look at now. So we're going to look at the str, we'll look at the int, and we'll look at float. Okay, so we'll look at those three. Now one of the ways I can do this is just simply by, I'll get rid of this, I can say str, and then I can put the item in here. So then we're going to put age. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually converting the age into a string. Now let me run it, and then we'll see the error is going to go away. Okay, and I can fix that there. Okay, so the error goes away, which is fine. But what this really does is, so this is no longer a 10. This is actually, when it's rendered, it's actually a string. So like this. And so this is a lot different. Okay, and just to prove my point, let me show you, just give you an example. Let's say I had an A and a B, and I had, let's say 10, I can make this a 10, and I said B, and I'll make that 11. Okay, if I were to print A plus B, okay, what do you think I'm going to get? Take a guess. So if I run it here, I'm going to get basically 10, 11, which in this case we don't really necessarily want that. Okay, so because if we want to actually add numbers, we can actually just go ahead and add the numbers, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so so we can convert that to a string. The other thing is, let's say I wanted to convert GPA, and so I wanted GPA as a float, and I wanted to convert GPA into an int. Watch what happens when I do that. So the way we do that is we do float, and then we put as an argument we put GPA. Okay, and I'm going to comment that out so we don't have any other code running. So I've done a print statement. I have the float casting function that's going to turn GPA into an int. Okay, so I'm going to click run. Let me clear this and watch what happens. Okay, we get float. I'm sorry, that is not what I want to do. Actually, you know what, look, we'll keep this. That was not what I wanted. I want to do age. So let's watch what happens with age. Okay, so now, just to be clear, I'm going to take age, which is 10. I'm going to turn it into a float. And let me clear it. Stop and clear. And notice we get, instead of, do it again. So instead of 10, we get 10.0 because now it has a decimal point. So we converted 10 into a float. And I'll do the same thing, the reverse. So let's convert GPA. So GPA is a float, which means it has a decimal point, and we're going to convert this into an int. Okay, by using the int function here. So let me go ahead and clear, and then we're going to go ahead and run and watch what happens. So now what it did is it simply just dropped the decimal point and it just made it 3. Okay, so these are very useful for turning different data types into other data types, and we're going to use those in a few of the other videos coming up. But the focus on this video is really just casting and just understanding the concept. So casting simply means we change one data type to another, and there are cases when you have to do that. This is one specifically where the print statement will not accept an integer with a string, so we have to convert it into a string. Now, an easier way to just fix this, and just kind of shows you the power of the f strings, if you remember my f string video, in f strings actually we can eliminate any of that. So we can just do f, and then I can say my name is, and I could say I do my curly brackets, and I can put name, and then I could do my period, and then I can say my age is, and then I can do my my variable here. And so that would actually solve everything, because in this case we wouldn't have to do anything with converting or casting anything. And that just shows, here we go. So this shows everything that we've done here. The second statement is the f string. All right, but although we can get around having to convert certain data types in certain situations, it's also important to know how to do it and what it actually does, because there are maybe times where this option is just not available, and you're going to have to convert some data type into another type. So that's it. All right, so if you like the video, go ahead and give it a like, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video where we're going to start on functions. Sorry everyone, I actually forgot one important function, and I just want to cover it now instead of doing a whole new video, so I'm just going to cover it here. We need to know the type function, and the type function is really helpful for knowing the different data types. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, cut this out, and I'm going to just throw this down here. I'm not going to erase any code, just put it in a multi-line comment, and we're going to look at the type function. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to print, actually I'm going to do another age. So I'm going to do age, and I'm going to do age 2. Okay, so with age 2, actually that's not a good practice. Let's put all the variables together. So I'm going to do age 2, and with age 2 I'm going to convert age age 2, and I'm going to convert the number 10 into a float. Okay, so it will now be a float. So I'm going to say float, and then I'm going to put age in as an argument. All right, now we're going to test the data types here using the type function. So let's do that. So I'm going to do print. I'm going to print the, we'll do type, and then we'll throw in age, and then we'll do print, and we'll do type, and we'll throw in age 2. So what I'm doing here is just capturing the first value of age and then the second value when it's converted. And let's take a look. Okay, so let's cancel this and go run. And so if you notice, line 8 actually produces the int, okay, which is what we want. We wanted this to be, actually we want this because this is an int. And then in this case, which is line 4, and then line 9, where we just print the type, it shows us that it's a float. So that is very useful for, again, the type function is very useful for just learning the different data types that we're dealing with. And let's just go do a couple of more. Let's say GPA, we'll do GPA 2, and we're going to convert that into an int. Okay, so we'll do float, we'll do int, and then we'll put GPA in there. And then let's do the same thing we did up there. So we'll do print, and we're going to throw the type. We're going to throw inside of there, inside of the type, we're going to throw in GPA, the first value. And then we're going to do the second value, do type. So as an argument, we'll throw in the type function. And then in the type function, as an argument, we'll throw in GPA 2. And then let's look at what this, so this is going to be a float. This should be an int. All right, so when we run it again, there it is. Okay, so the results are int. So these are the original ones, the first two, lines 9 and 10 here. And then the types, so the first value is a float, which is this. And then the second value, type line 12, is an int, which we've used that. Okay, so again, the type function is very useful for understanding the type of data that we're working with. And there are cases where you may need to use it. But again, this video concentrates on casting and data types and converting different types of data into other types of data. Now, the last thing I want to cover is we can convert a string. Now, the Bob, it really doesn't make any sense to convert Bob into a number because we can't. But let's say I did age 3. And instead of 10, I want to convert it into a string, and I can do str, and then I'm going to put in age. Okay, so let me get rid of these two. I'm sorry, this should be age 3. Okay, so we have 3 variables, 3 age variables, and this is now going to be a string, and this is now going to be this is a float, as we've done before. And so let's see what they look like, and what does it tell us? It's data type, so I'm going to type in type, and I'm going to do age 3. Okay, and then for good measure, I'm just going to print out. We'll do print out age 3, just so we can see what it looks like. Clear that, stop, and then we'll run. And notice here we have an int, which is fine, which we want it. We have a float, which is age 2, and then for line 13, age 3 prints out as a string. Okay, so this is actually a string. It is not a number that we can add. It is now inside of quotes. So again, it's the same thing as just doing this, like adding it inside of quotes. So we'll do 10. It's the same thing as that. All right. So anyway, that is it for this video. I will see you in the next video where we're going to talk about functions. All right. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Again, if you like it, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.